During the Second World War, soldiers fought in places where bullets weren't even the deadliest threat. Infection, shock, and uncontrolled pain killed just as efficiently, and often there was nothing close to a hospital, no doctor on standby, and no guarantee that morphine would be anywhere within reach. Frontline medics, many barely older than the men they treated, had to improvise with whatever they could pull from the environment. What most people never learn is that beneath the noise of tanks, gunfire, and chaos, a quiet, almost hidden formula circulated between medics, nurses, resistance fighters, and local healers. It wasn't pretty and it wasn't sterile, but it worked well enough to keep men alive until evacuation. This was the war's secret painkiller, a field-made remedy that didn't come from a factory, yet earned a reputation as the closest thing to morphine when the real thing had completely run out. By 1942, both Axis and Allied forces were feeling the strain of supply shortages. Battles stretched across remote jungles, deserts, mountains, and swamps, where medical supply lines collapsed under constant combat. Morphine ampoules shattered in temperature extremes, ether evaporated, and chloroform stocks dwindled. The solution couldn't depend on a warehouse or a shipment. It had to come from local knowledge. Plants, bark, leaves, whatever, could be adapted into something resembling real medical treatment. British and Commonwealth medics in Burma learned from local healers. American soldiers in the Pacific were taught by island tribes. Even German units on the Eastern Front resorted to traditional herbal remedies passed down from folklore. And from this global exchange of desperation came a consistent formula: willow bark, clove oil, and high-proof alcohol. Willow bark was the backbone of the remedy. Its inner layer contains salicin, a compound that the human body converts into salicylic acid, the chemical ancestor of aspirin. When boiled into a tea or crushed into a tincture, it reduces inflammation, eases pain, and even helps lower fever. Clove oil, sometimes replaced with crushed cloves when supplies were low, contains eugenol, an anesthetic that dentists still use today to numb gums and kill bacteria. And alcohol acted as both a solvent and a disinfectant, drawing the active compounds together while helping keep wounds clean. On its own, each ingredient was useful. Combined, they became something far more powerful, a battlefield painkiller that could dull agony, slow swelling, and hold off infection long enough to save a life. Field notes from the Burma campaign describe medics stripping willow branches and scraping away the outer bark to reach the soft, flexible inner layer. They simmered it for 10 to 15 minutes until the water turned a murky brown. Once cooled, a few drops of clove oil were added when available. If cloves were present but no oil, they were crushed by hand and stirred into the brew. And if there was any alcohol, rum, medicinal spirits, even improvised rice liquor, a small amount was mixed in both to preserve the liquid and improve absorption. The result was a brew that tasted awful, smelled strong, and burned going down. But to a soldier with shrapnel in his thigh or a fractured bone, it was a miracle they could prepare in minutes. This concoction wasn't just drunk. Medics soaked cloth strips in the hot mixture and pressed them directly onto wounds. The heat increased circulation, the salicin fought inflammation, and the eugenol numbed the area. In North Africa, British units used it for bayonet cuts, desert rashes, and infected blisters. American Marines in the Solomons used it on tropical ulcers. French resistance fighters created similar mixes using meadowsweet and yarrow, plants available in European forests that carried their own pain-relieving properties. These improvised remedies didn't replace professional medicine, but in the moments where nothing else existed, they often made the difference between a soldier walking away or being carried out. Modern research actually confirms what wartime medics already knew. Salicin, when extracted from fresh bark, becomes bioavailable quickly. The hot water extraction activates enzymes that make it easier for the body to process. Eugenol doesn't just numb nerves, it also kills bacteria and reduces swelling. Alcohol enhances absorption and prevents the mixture from spoiling. This wasn't superstition or guesswork, it was chemistry shaped by necessity. And the truth is, this method still works today. For a survivalist, someone training for remote medicine or preparing for situations where modern supplies might not exist, this forgotten formula is one of the most reliable natural pain remedies ever discovered. Anyone can try it. Find a willow tree with long, flexible branches and silver-green leaves. Peel a few strips of the inner bark, dry them and store them. The next time you have a headache or strained muscle, brew a cup of willow tea. Add clove oil if you have it. You'll feel a slow, steady easing of pain, the same relief felt by soldiers 80 years ago. What makes the story unforgettable isn't just the science, it's the ingenuity. These medics weren't equipped with perfect tools. They were improvisers working under fire, mixing painkillers in muddy helmets, scraping bark with bayonets, and delivering relief using nothing but determination and knowledge. Their work bridged the gap between raw nature and modern medicine, and their methods still form the backbone of field medicine today. If you've made it this far, you now know one of the most practical and powerful survival formulas of the Second World War. If you value real wartime knowledge, forgotten survival skills, and field-tested remedies, subscribe to The Untold Battle and share this with someone who respects the history behind real medicine. Each week we bring back another piece of forgotten ingenuity and keep it alive.